Hi, this is Simon Moon from Simon Moon Music, and today I want to talk to you about another modulation source. That's the step modulation, and to start with, let's just listen to what we did last time. Okay, I noticed two things before we go into step modulation. I think I got to fix something real quick here. So let me check something first. I think that this was in D minor. Yes. And obviously this isn't. But I guess I can fix this very, very easily. Now it's C minor. And all of a sudden it's D minor. Okay, and since we're already here, I might move this into the fifth to have a little variation. Let's just listen to this real quick. Okay. Good. Plus, I think the dynamics could be improved somewhat. Let's just make some touch-ups because I think it might be worth it. First of all, I would like to use a dynamics tool that Bitwig comes with already. And first of all, what I want to do is I want the very soft sections of the sound not to be heard at all, so that it comes in even more audible when it crosses a certain threshold. Okay, in order to do that, I simply go on this left side of this dynamics tool here and reduce the ratio, and you can see that whatever is below this threshold that I can move by tweaking this knob here is less audible than all the rest. Okay, I don't want to go into too much detail here, but you can listen to that in a second and then you'll hear the difference. The other thing I want to do is I want to add some compression without knee, so that the compression starts very hard at this threshold, which I'll be tweaking in a second. Okay, let's simply solo the sound real quick. Okay. Here's without it. Without it. And you can hear it becomes a little bit more snappy. Plus, I feel that this needs a little EQing too. And another thing, I think the sound will become much clearer if I set the lower frequencies completely to mono. But let's do this right afterwards. Okay, I clear up some of the muddiness, which typically comes from frequencies in between 120 and 180 hertz or 200 hertz. And I compensate for that in order not to lose the lows by using another peak here, but one that has a much broader Q factor. Take out some of the boxiness and add more presence. So this is without the EQ. Again, with, without, with. Okay, and now let's make the lows mono. In order to do this, I just pick one of the containers that Bitwig comes with, and I'll pick the multiband effects too. And then you can see it divides the frequency spectrum into a low section and a high section. And in the low section, what I want to do is I simply use the tool. We've had a look before in one of the previous tutorials. And for this low section, I reduce width to virtually nothing. So it's completely mono now. And let's adjust the split here while listening to it. But one more thing which makes the split even more audible is in the high section. I would like to add a tool as well. But here I want to emphasize width. So in the low section I attenuate width. I bring it down to 0, and in the high section I increase width just a little bit. And now we try to find the sweet point of this frequency split here. Seems to be somewhere around here. And now I show you what this sounds like. Let's hear it without and then with. So the sound is much more pronounced this way, okay? Now I'm happy with that. Let's leave it at that, unsolo it, and let's see what we can do with a step modulator. So in order to see what we can do with that, I would like to introduce some Trance Gate of a kind, and I need a synth sound or a pad sound, and since this is a Psytrance track, I would go for something that's a bit squarey in timbre. So let's see what we can find here. Why not try bass square? We don't want bass, default square. That's good. Okay, we use this one, and I'll just add in a little MIDI. So we have something to play with, and I simply use the root chord. Making the same mistake again. That's a bit stupid. Well, since we're in D minor, I pick D as the root note, and I want this to go across the first 4 bars. And here we obviously have to pick the 5th, because we changed that bass line here as well. Okay, then duplicate this, but I want to have this run in parallel with our A minor section. So I change the root note here to A, and have this, change this into a C. Okay. And to keep it simple, copy this over, because here we're in D minor again. Shorten this a bit, and now we have our chords in. It doesn't sound too impressive, I must admit, but as soon as we add a Trance Gate, this becomes something we work with. At least that's what I hope for. Let's see where this is going to take us. So I need an LFO, and sorry, not the LFO, the step modulator. Okay, here it is. And now you can see we have a number of bars in here that in this case indicate, I think, eighth notes, but I want to have this prolonged into it's 16th notes now with 16 steps. So this is actually a whole bar now. Okay, and if I add a trancey kind of gate here, you'll hear that in the sound immediately. I'll just try something out. So I pick every first, third, fifth, and so on of these 16th notes. Plus another important thing. Oh, sorry. This doesn't do anything at the moment. It just generates an LFO, but or sorry, not an LFO, a modulation source. And now we have to apply this modulation source to something. And the first thing we're going to apply this to is to the volume of our pad here. So if I lower the volume, we will be able to barely hear it. Okay, and now if I use this modulation pattern we created to manipulate or to modulate the amplitude, then this is what we get. Okay, so that sounds already much more interesting. I just want to make this pattern a little bit more interesting. So let's see. Okay, that's good. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, let me try another thing. I would like to have a filter in here, which we will also modulate. And now it's a low-pass filter. Well, that's good. So this is what this knob does. Let's increase resonance or the Q factor a little bit. And then I would like to have a reduction in cutoff whenever one of these steps increases in amplitude. So let's see what this sounds like. Okay. Now another thing I think in order to give this a little bit more swing, to make this sound a bit more lofty, I would add another modulation source, and let's simply try it and hear what it sounds like. So after the filter, I put an LFO modulation, and I want this to modulate the amplitude as well. So I have to move this into the effects section here, because otherwise this tool is not accessible from this modulation source, but it's still accessible from our step modulator. As you can see here, it's still modulating it rhythmically. And now I would like to have a little ducking effect here, and change this to time beat, and make this manipulate the amplitude only in one direction. So I want every time the sawtooth goes up to make it duck the amplitude. So I make it reduce amplitude here, and let's see what this sounds like. Plus, another idea, I could modulate pan as well by this triangle wave here, and well, something like this. Increase width a little. It spreads out the sound a little bit more on our stereo spectrum. Okay, and then I think this already works out pretty well. I just want to work on the transients a little bit. I would like to have this sound being sustained a little bit more. So there is a Bitwig, where is it? Transient shaper. It's called Transient Control here, and I would like to increase the sustain. And that's and then I will have to tweak sustain time so it doesn't mess up the groove. So let's listen to it. Okay, and I would like to increase the attack as well a little bit. So this is very pronounced now. So here's without, here's with. It just accentuates things a little bit more. And now we have a gated synth, which I move into the pads and strings group here, because it's pretty paddy. The only thing I would like to add to this is I would like to have a filter that I will open up during these first 8 bars. So I need a Bitwig filter here. I think it makes sense to have this work as a low-pass filter, and then I want something like this to happen. And in one of the last tutorials I told you how to do this. This is basically automation. So I open up the automation lanes, tweak this cutoff knob so it appears here, click this plus sign, and now I draw in an automation curve. Sorry, let's start from the beginning. That's maybe a bit too defensive. Let's try it like this. Okay, sounds quite good, I think. Now I think this new sound needs a little bit of reverb. So I start from this section and loop it all over, because that's where we can fully hear it. Okay, maybe see what the delay is to the sound. Cool. Now let's listen to what we've done today. Okay, sounds cool, I think. In the next tutorial, we'll work a little bit more on this track. I think we need some kind of intro, maybe use this first sequence here as an intro. I think the next section should be moved to the to a later section of the song, and we have to think about what to put in between. Well, let's see what kind of ideas I can come up with in the next tutorial. This is it for today. I hope you liked this. If you do, follow me, and have a nice day. Bye bye.